The only part clearly wrong was at the end when you said we've got to get him out of here, as you got strong at the end, and I think it has to be a last desperate begging, you know? And I still think you shouldn't jump on every single emphatic line. It looks fake. It really does. It looks like you,
When I'm that nervous, it's a...
Shelley, I'm telling you, it's too many times. Every time he speaks emphatically, you're jumping, and it looks funny.
So he says, I'll put on my Superman suit.
No, I think that line is right.
Right.
When he lays down.
No, I think that line's in the right place.
Okay.
Okay, Shelley, so you say, what's the matter with you first?
Because what's the matter with you means, why are you so angry? What is the matter with you? It doesn't mean, what are you talking about?
Well, this is where he lays down, though. That's the only thing I was thinking of. You know, when he flops back on the bed. Since that is new, I thought it fit, you know, what's the matter with you?
If you talk,
And then he
say
blows
this
up.
right, I'd rather say it, yeah.
Okay.
All right? Honestly, don't think the lines are going to make an awful lot of difference if you get the right attitude.
If it hadn't been for that, you know, volley of ideas and sometimes butting of heads together, it wouldn't have come out as good as it did. And it also helps get the emotion up and the concentration up, because it builds up anger, actually, and you get more out of yourself. And he knew that, and he knew he was getting more out of me by doing that. So it was sort of like a game.
You know, you can go for years saying, I'm going to get this thing real, because they really haven't seen it real. You know, they just keep seeing one fashion of unreal after the other that passes as real. And you go mad with realism, and then you come up against someone like Stanley who says, yeah, it's real, but it's not interesting.
So Arthur Schopenhauer had this idea of the world as will, and pretty much that most living beings that are like us were like this kind of happy accident, or pretty unhappy. We're unhappy because we're conscious, and the more conscious we are, the more we kind of find this chaos, this living situation erratic and kind of depressing. And you know, pretty much ignorance is bliss, right? And the opposite of that is that with the more knowledge you have, the more sorrow. And he kind of like pushed the notion that we come up with religion, with philosophy, with ideology, all of these different tools to kind of give us some sort of a filter for this chaos, for reality, and in a way that'll give us a little bit more reason to sort things out and kind of live through with more happiness. And when I think of that guy in the world of film, I always think of Stanley Kubrick. I think that the two are very similar in a lot of different ways, and kind of like a Dostoevsky as well, where they're just casting this wide net across all of humanity and our nature, and kind of exploring just the ugly parts of ourselves and the consciousness and our awareness. When we think of ourselves in comparison to other animals, we look at ourselves as something beyond. We think of the logos, we think of the tools we have, we have fingers, we have, ligaments, we have machines, we have these things that other creatures don't have the ability to navigate the way that we do. Right? We're traversing the world and documenting things within time for our own benefit to kind of like pass on to the next. Other animals just don't do that. Even animals that do have the ability to use tools, that do have the ability, hypothetically, to communicate a little more sophisticated than we once thought, these creatures don't document things in time the way that we do. We could read a book and we're getting like transmissions from the past, essentially, is what we're doing. You're watching this video, but I recorded it, at a previous time. Anything that you make, any comment, any reply, any like, those things are just, you're sending signals across time. That's kind of like the way we're playing with each other, right? We're intellectually communicating with each other across time. And that's the logos. That's the beautiful complexity and elegance of the logos, standing on the shoulders of giants. And Kubrick and Schopenhauer always find a way of bringing us back down into the dirt by showing different situations where our lust, our desire for power, status, the knowledge of the unknown in the very physical material world, or in other, just fundamentals of our nature and the limits of our universe.
Schopenhauer thought, didn't he, that if we analyze this world of phenomena, we might get from it some clues as to what the underlying one, which he called, following Kant, the noumenon or the noumenon, it's a word from the Greek, we might get some idea of what the noumenon is.
These bits of information from ancient times, which have to do with the themes that have supported man's life, built civilizations, informed religions over the millennia, have to do with deep inner problems, inner mysteries, inner thresholds of passage. And if you don't know what the guide signs are along the way, you have to work it out yourself.
Schopenhauer said, well, this is almost exactly right, but there is one absolutely crucial exception to it, which amazingly Kant seems to have overlooked, and that is that for every individual one of us, there is one unique physical object in the world, which we know in the way Kant says we know physical objects, but we also know in a radically and entirely different way, namely directly from inside, and that is ourselves, our own bodies, our own persons. They are physical objects in the way that any other physical object is a physical object, and they can be seen and touched and heard and known in all the ways that other physical objects are known. But each one of us, in addition to that, has immediate non-sensory knowledge of this one physical object from inside, directly. And Schopenhauer thought that this knowledge of a physical object from inside might provide us with the key to the inner nature of things.
They always remind us that we don't know more than we do, and that we're not as conscious as we believe we are. Our eyes are wide shut. We have the illusion of free will. We have the illusion of understanding, and then something just kind of like, shows us a different way. I don't think it's pessimistic at all. I think it's a beautiful thing, the notion that we, despite knowing that it is a scary thing, we seek the fear-inducing. We seek the awe.
Gentlemen, a little pearl washed ashore by the tide of war. Sag den Herrschaften guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Hey, talk in a civilized language! It's true the little lady has her limitations. As a matter of fact, she has absolutely no talent at all. Except that is, well, maybe a little natural talent. Little lady can't dance, she can't tell any jokes, and she can't balance rubber balls on her little nose. But she can sing like a bird. She has a throat of gold. Come on, honey, sing us a song. Come on.
Als man ihm die Botschaft bracht, dass sein Herzliebchen im Sterben lag, da ließ er all sein Hab und Gut und eilte seinem Herzliebchen zu. Da ließ er all sein Hab und Gut und eilte seinem Herzliebchen zu. Ach bitte, Mutter, bring ein Licht, mein Liebchen stirbt